Greetings, trackers. Welcome back to Adjust Tracking, the RPL Film Theater's VHS night, hosted tonight by Johnny Dickie of Philadelphia and yours truly, Jon Vaughn. For the 78th edition, we'll be experiencing Slaughter Tales from 2012, created by Johnny Dickie of Philadelphia. An anthology film with the perfect concept. Our anti-hero steals a VHS tape called Slaughter Tales from a yard sale and takes it home to watch after being warned by a ghostly apparition to avoid the tape at all costs. Brushing off the timely advice, the tape goes straight into the VCR and the nightmares ensue. Johnny, excellent to have you with us this evening to introduce your cinematic debut. I must say I was shocked the first time I saw your film. Deeply impressed by everything from the dialogue, editing, soundtrack, special effects, and the sheer bounty of ideas crammed into a single feature. How old were you when you made this, and how did you learn the art of filmmaking at such an age?
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out tonight. I hope everyone winds up enjoying Slaughter Tales. It's weird to think it's been about 13 years now, about 13 years since it got released. I think it came out 2012. And I made Slaughter Tales. I started Slaughter Tales when I was 13 years old and finished it when I was 15. So if that doesn't show when you watch the movie and you, I don't know, just the general vibe of it all and how much I curse, I think is probably the biggest indicator of my age at the time. And filmmaking expertise, I mean, I don't know if I would call it expertise. I've always had an interest in special effects and behind the scenes makings of movies. And a lot of it was just watching different behind the scenes makeup tutorials. I never went to film school, if that was the question. I respect it, but that's not something I ever personally did, which is probably evident when you watch the movie. There's probably a lot of first-time rules that are broken there. But yeah, I would say it's just all kind of self-taught from watching movies and picking up on different techniques.
Amazing. You really are a John of all trades. What appealed to you most about the anthology format? Do you have favorite anthology films which inspired you to make your own?
I'd say the anthology format really appealed to me. Well, besides being just a big horror fan at the time, so I was really into movies like Creepshow and the Tales from the Crypt TV show. It appeals to me because I'm a fan of short films and like music videos and kind of short form video work in general. So I've always kind of been a fan of stuff like that. I think it's a great way to get ideas across that you don't necessarily want or have the means to flesh out to a feature length, feature length idea. Sometimes stuff kind of works better in my mind as a 10-minute, 15-minute segment or something, as opposed to, trying to pad it out, make it 70, 75 minutes, 90 minutes, and then suddenly you're losing something in that process. So I like how concise you have to be with anthology movies and kind of short films in general. But I would say big movie influences besides Creepshow, obviously, in the anthology movie realm. The biggest one is John Carpenter's Body Bags. I've been a huge fan of that movie since I first saw it. I still am to this day. I think it's just really well done, and I definitely would say that doesn't really come through in Slaughter Tales. If you're going to be watching it and have seen that movie, there's an abyss of difference in quality between those two movies. I won't say which one's better though. That's but no, I'm a big fan of anthology movies. I think they're kind of easy to watch. And there's nothing really beats like a good segment in an anthology movie for me. So, that's a big draw for me. That, and I would say Slaughter Tales, it was easy putting that movie together, being able to make one short film, one vignette at a time, and sort of piece it together, and by the time I knew it, it was a feature length movie where that making a full cohesive story over the course of 90 minutes is uh, a lot bigger of an undertaking, I'd say. Not to diminish my own work, but it was uh, a little easier for me to kind of think of it as 5 short films and a wraparound. So that was the draw, I would say, too, for me.
Love it. How did you get this film out into the world and released on VHS and DVD? What kind of words of wisdom could you share with young filmmakers who are dreaming of making their own Slaughter Tales one day?
I'd say I was very, very fortunate with how Slaughter Tales wound up getting distributed at the time. A friend of mine was starting a distribution company called Briarwood Entertainment, and through a friend of a friend, he had heard about Slaughter Tales. It was right when I was finished making it, and I think just the Justin Rice is their name. They they're a fellow VHS collector, and similarly into kind of weird low budget horror movies and direct to video films and stuff like that. So right place at the right time, I would say. It was also 2012 was right at the sort of the bubblings up of the sort of VHS revival. And there was other VHS movies put out on VHS at the time, but were definitely one of the, obviously plenty of movies put out at the time on VHS by that point. But modern kind of throwback revival VHS releases, I would say, kind of the retro modern VHS revival. It was one of the early ones, so I don't know. It was just good timing, I would say, that it kind of got as nice of a release as it did. It got really nice DVDs pressed, which I'm very thankful for. I don't have the money to do that myself. Unfortunately, it's film distribution. It's a whole other end of the deal. I've done some self-releasing before, but I would say going on to your other question, any words of wisdom or any advice for filmmakers, I would say don't stop, which is obviously very typical or stereotypical answer, but I would say if you fail, that's even more of a reason to keep doing it. If you enjoy doing it, that is. If there's something about the process that's not enjoyable, fix that. Figure out how to have fun. Take some of the pressure off of yourself, and make sure the process of making movies is something that you're enjoying doing. And I think a big part of that is making sure you're not you're not criticizing yourself too much. And I think part of the way to learn what to do, what not to do next time, is to do it the first time. So I think, if you think it's going to be a bad movie, the reason I'm saying this, of course, is because if you'll see Slaughter Tales, it's not a good movie. And I do a lot of self-deprecating in the movie itself. And part of that, while it's obviously tongue-in-cheek, haha, I think it's good to keep doing it, and to be self-aware of what you're doing wrong. But I think in doing that, you're able to keep working and hopefully have kind of an ego death about your artistic process. And putting out a movie, doing a movie, making a movie of any quality is enough work, is enough of an accomplishment. And I think being too scared to fail is a trap you can fall into. So I would say don't stop. If you think what you shot doesn't look good, try better next time, and don't hold yourself back because you think you're not worth it, because you are. The magic comes from all types of places, and there's Slaughter Tales. At the time I was making it, I never thought it would be watched by anyone really 10 years down the line. So anything can happen, I guess, is what I'm trying to say in a real roundabout way.
Totally. Good stuff, Johnny. Thank you so much for joining us this evening to introduce your first opus. Do you have any final words to share with us?
Thank you again so much for having me. I suppose for final thoughts, um, I hope you all enjoy the movie. If you don't, you know who to talk to. I'm not to be found liable for anyone who is cursed by watching the movie or by viewing the haunted VHS tape, I suppose, in Slaughter Tales parlance. Um, but yeah, seriously, I hope you all enjoy. It's an honor to still have people watching this goofy movie, and uh, I apologize for all the bad language again too. You're gonna hear me curse like a sailor. So and for anyone trying to do any drinking games at home, for take a shot or take a drink anytime I curse, uh, I would not recommend that. Make sure there's EMTs on standby for that one, because it is not recommended. Um, but yeah, enjoy Slaughter Tales. Thank you again so much for having me.
Awesome. Thanks again, Johnny. Stay tuned, stay safe, be kind, and please rewind.